On December 25th, 2020, Playboi Carti would rock the music world, releasing his highly anticipated album, Whole Lotta Red. When it first hit streaming platforms, the project would receive all sorts of negative feedback, with hashtag WholeLottaTrash trending on Twitter. Fans went into the album expecting a melodic, baby-voiced Carti over angelic beats as heard in leaks that delayed the album in 2019, such as Kid Cudi. Instead, they were given an in-your-face, brash record, with Carti bringing energy similar to that of a metal vocalist. While the project received hate at first, once people stopped comparing it to leaks from years ago and heard some of these tracks live, people started to recognize the album for what it was: a trend-setting record that turned Playboi Carti into a musical enigma. Dressing in punk-esque outfits and adding electric guitars to his live performances, Carti has built up a cult-like following in recent years with his unique aesthetic. And that cult-like following has been starving for new music. 2 years removed from the release of Whole Lotta Red, despite some features, Carti is yet to release any new material. What he has done is a whole lot of teasing, even naming a tour after his alleged upcoming project in 2021, and dropping merch, only to switch the name of the tour midway through and never mention the album ever again. Unlike in 2021, which we'll get to in a minute, this time around it actually feels as if he's gonna drop something. I know we're delusional. So in anticipation of our favorite lying vampire potentially releasing some new material, I'm gonna be covering everything you need to know regarding Playboi Carti's upcoming album. So Whole Lotta Red released on Christmas Day 2020. The day after, on the 26th, Carti would take to Twitter and ask fans what songs they wanted on the deluxe. The deluxe version of Whole Lotta Red would drop never. He tweeted about it, and it never happened. After performing some songs from Whole Lotta Red in a virtual format due to the pandemic, Carti would go quiet for a while. The only time we would hear from Playboi Carti would be when he was featured on other artists' songs. Carti would feature on Trippie Redd's track Miss the Rage, which dropped on May 7th. Additionally, in August, he would feature on Abra's track Unlock It. His biggest feature of the year would be revealed when Kanye West began hosting his Donda listening parties in the summer of 2021. Before Kanye's first show in Atlanta, Carti would be pictured backstage with Ye, laying over some vocals at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Carti would not only have an iconic verse on Off the Grid, but also feature on Junya. It's right around the time that Donda finally dropped that Playboi Carti would return to Instagram. On August 23rd, Carti would post some pictures of himself wearing Balenciaga outfits. The caption of the post read, Narcissist, 9/13/21. Most fans took this as Narcissist being his next album, releasing on the 13th. The name of the project likely being inspired by Carti's ex, Iggy Azalea, in her infamous rant about Carti on Instagram Live.
This man didn't even come to see his son be born. He went to Philly to play the PlayStation with Little Uzi. I'm just pissed the fuck off and I'm tired of it. I've been so nice, like behind the scenes, trying to wait for this man to get his shit together. He's never going to get his shit together. The only thing that he cares about is what the world thinks of him, because he's a fucking narcissist.
However, fans understood that there was a chance that Narcissist was just a clothing line. Some people still believe that's all it was to this day. As September 13th, 2021 drew closer, Playboi Carti would continuously upload on Instagram, posting a model in a same style fit as his first post back, as well as himself hanging out with Kanye. In every single one of these posts, the caption was 9/13/21. Fans would soon find out that Carti was going on tour, as tickets for the Narcissist tour would appear on Playboi Carti's website. The tour ran through fall of 2021, and the fact that it was happening just made fans think even more that this project was really coming. A lot of artists will go on tour after dropping an album. Kendrick Lamar did so this year when he dropped Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. He went on the Big Steppers tour. The Weeknd dropped Dawn FM. He went on the After Hours Till Dawn tour this summer. Additionally, Carti's artist photo on streaming would be updated to fit the Narcissist aesthetic. So the big day came, September 13th, 2021, and nothing happened. Carti has done this on numerous occasions. That doesn't make it okay, but as someone who experienced all the bullshit in the lead up to Whole Lotta Red dropping, I was not surprised. Disappointed, but I was not surprised. What would shock me is the next day, Narcissist merch would be available to purchase on Carti's website. The merch would have an overall motorsport aesthetic with some whack-ass prices. A blank biker helmet would be included in the drop, being sold for $5,000. And even worse, some maniac on the Playboi Carti subreddit fucking bought it. My favorite part about the whole helmet ordeal is that immediately after the merch went live, someone would find it on another website for like $50. Regardless, this Narcissist clothing drop, the expensive helmet, all of it, would allegedly not be any of Carti's doing. A few hours after the clothes went live, Playboi Carti would post screenshots of text messages in which he said, "The website is hacked, the ref folder was posted live, never approved any clothing, etc." So essentially, some of these designs were Carti's concepts, some of them weren't, yet he didn't approve of them going on sale, nor did he approve any of the prices. Where was the fucking album? Well, on that same day, September 15th, Carti would provide an update. Again, posting a text message, Carti said in the screenshot, "Forget about sample clearances, drop Narcissist." In this right here, this proves that Narcissist was a music project. Samples are, of course, bits from other songs, or even other forms of media such as movies that artists will take and interpolate into their own beat on their own track. Because someone else owns that audio, you need to essentially go to that copyright owner and get the sample approved before music can be dropped with samples on streaming. If you don't get samples approved, there's major implications such as lawsuits. And allegedly, the samples on Narcissist would never be approved. The label would never allow the album to be dropped. Allegedly. I smell some fucking bullshit. Adding to the odd nature of this whole hacking incident, Carti would be seen in public with Lil Uzi Vert, repping the Narcissist merch that was removed from the website. Following this date, following those text messages, fans would not get an update on Narcissist whatsoever. Even Carti's tour, named the Narcissist Tour, would be renamed midway through to the King Vamp Tour. The last time Carti would ever mention Narcissist would be on September 26th of 2021, in a tweet where he simply said, "Narcissist." Carti would wrap up the King Vamp Tour, tweeting a few times about his cult-like fan base before entering another period of social media silence. That silence would be broken when Ye held his Donda 2 listening event on February 22nd of 2022. First off, as Ye previewed some new tracks that were expected on his upcoming album Donda 2, Playboi Carti would be featured on the song Mr. Miyagi. Carti would actually be at this event live though, as Kanye at the end would go from previewing tracks off the upcoming album to performing some off his last album Donda. Unfortunately, this show was a fucking disaster. I've covered it a lot on this channel, so I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but essentially there was a lot of sound engineering problems. The earpiece in the performing artist's ears obviously were offbeat from what the fans were hearing live. So when Off the Grid was played as the last song to be had at this performance, amidst Kanye at his most pissed and Fabio Foreign getting bodied by his own backing vocals, Carti's pure energy he brought to the performance as well as his ad-libs genuinely saved the show. Following this show, Carti would post some pictures on Insta, showing off his fit for this show that was really like Joker inspired. In April, Carti would participate in a rare interview with Double XL. This is of course where the infamous "I done dated" meme comes from. But on a serious note, Carti allegedly played a song for this interviewer, and the track was called Wicked. When asked about a title for this upcoming album, Carti would say, "Music," because that's all it is at this point. While this could be the name for his upcoming album, I just really don't see it. It seemed like to me, the way he was describing it too in this interview, it more seemed like a placeholder title. Topics that Carti will allegedly discuss on this record are love, sex, drugs, changes in his life, and rehab. Aside from performances at live festivals, Carti would go back to being very silent. Again, no posting on social media. Finally, on October 21st, 2022, Playboi Carti would drop his Narcissist clothing line. These designs would be completely different from the alleged hacked drop of 2021. Rather than the motorsport theme, these designs would be more like inspired from metal band merch. There also was hoodies with mugshots on the front, and this would be controversial because some of these people in the mugshots were in jail for really fucked up reasons, such as sexual assault. The model wearing these clothes would get a lot of attention because of his look. His name is Brooks Ginnon. He suffers from ectodermal dysplasia, but that doesn't stop him from modeling, and I think that's pretty fucking cool. Carti would also post pictures of himself rocking the clothing on his backup Instagram. But speaking of pictures of Carti, we would get to see a picture of him in the studio on an Opium producer's Instagram story. Finally, on December 24th, 2022, Playboi Carti breaks his silence. He would post a screenshot of an audio file on his Instagram story. A few hours later, Carti would post a picture of a girl in a mirror with an explicit label in the bottom right. This means that this is music related. This is the artwork for either an album or a single. Carti would post another screenshot of 3 more audio files on his story on Christmas Day because apparently he doesn't know how to fucking screen record. But speaking of social media, on Christmas Day, Carti would return to Twitter. Additionally, he would no longer be typing in that weird on and off capital style that he used during the Whole Lotta Red era. His second tweet back is what really would get people going, as he said, "Love all my supporters, it's time." DJ Academics, who was the person to break the news about Whole Lotta Red dropping in 2020, would drop some information, at least what he knew about this upcoming Carti release. Again, this is the guy who told us that Whole Lotta Red was dropping on Christmas. He broke the news about Kanye being the executive producer for Whole Lotta Red, so whether you like him or not, he is reliable. Also, him being here gives me an excuse to finally fucking have this in one of my videos, so I know I'm really fucking late, but play it.
What top 5 you smoking on, Kendrick? Cause my top 5 is Drake, 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 Drake.
If we broke it off, then you know it wasn't painless.
Okay, now let's get back on the fucking track. Academics would essentially say that Carti's new album was dropping in the first quarter of 2023. Also, allegedly, Carti is changing his sound. Carti always evolves from album to album. He never sticks to a formula, so that's not surprising to me. But I think some fans are like taking this a little too literally. I just couldn't really imagine Carti completely ditching the whole rockstar aesthetic of Whole Lotta Red. Some people are just like completely whack, thinking he's going to take a complete 180 and go back to that mellow sound. Well, I wouldn't even be mad at that. I just think there's no fucking way. We'll get into who we know is working on this project in a minute, but in my opinion, it's really telling that Carti isn't going to completely rebrand from the Whole Lotta Red sound. On December 29th, Carti would once again take to Instagram to post a picture of himself. Why does this matter? Because Carti's manager would comment on the post saying, "Your best album." And she's not the only one associated with Carti who's really hyping this record up. Tons of people who have worked with Carti previously and are presumably working on this record have took to social media to really hype this shit up. On December 30th, producer Filthy, who is behind some of the best tracks on Whole Lotta Red, such as Stop Breathing, would tweet out about this new Carti record sounding crazy and coming soon. Fritz Owens would quote tweet Filthy's tweet, presumably hinting at Lil Wayne having a feature on Carti's upcoming project. He would once again quote tweet another Filthy tweet, this time tagging some people who are presumably working on this album. One of those being OG Volta. OG Volta is the guy who's behind the live renditions of those Whole Lotta Red tracks with the electric guitar. Carti obviously fucks with the idea of his sound being meshed in with those OG Volta electric guitars, and if you ask me, that means this album is going to have some of those electric guitars in it, especially if you look at like recent Opium drops such as Homicide Gang. But like I said, nothing is written in stone for Carti. We have no idea what this album's going to sound like. It could be a fucking country album for all we know. Something that is for certain though, is Carti is headlining Rolling Loud on March 3rd. A lot of artists who headline like that usually drop an album before the performance. That completely aligns with the Academics info of the project dropping in the first quarter of 2023. While we don't know when exactly the album will come, we do know that Carti is 100% working on new music currently, as on January 8th, producer Digital Nas would post a screenshot on his Instagram story of Carti asking him for rocker sounding beats. It's been about a week since Carti's posted anything, which could be good or could be bad. Either he's busy in the studio, or the project's already scrapped and we're not going to hear from him for another 2 years. Either way, as frustrating as it is to have those periods of drought as a Carti fan, this proves that his whole mysterious persona is effective in building up hype. His return to Twitter would nearly break the internet, pulling in huge numbers on Christmas. And while he has fucked his fans over on numerous occasions, there's a reason we're always on the edge of our seat when Carti's teasing new material. His style is completely unique, and he always brings something new to the table when putting out a new record. To me, what's really interesting about this project is that we haven't heard snippets of any songs. We have no idea what this album's going to sound like. Whether it's called Narcissist, or Music, or some other completely different title, the world watches on, as Playboi Carti is set to flip the music world on its head once again.